Hello artists, today I'm going to show you how to make a human figure using tin foil. You'll also need scissors and then a cardboard piece just for a base, and then either a stapler or some tape to stick it down onto the base. You may have seen a figure like this before, where you can bend the arms and the legs into different poses, different action poses. And these mannequins are really helpful to understand the form of the human body and how the human body bends. So we'll be looking at the human form and then also thinking about different poses to show an action or an expression. But before we do that, I want you to take a look at the artist Alberto Giacometti. He has a very unique style in how he creates his human figures. So let's take a look at that first. He was a Swiss sculptor born in 1901, and he is famous for his very long, thin sculptures of figures. He used metal to mostly sculpt human forms, but he also experimented with animals as well. First, let's start out with drawing out a human figure. When you think about the proportions of the human figure, you have the head, the waist is another important part, and then you have the legs and the arms. Now, with the proportions, the head is about 1/7 or 1/8 of the entire body. So what I like to do is just draw circles in a nice repetitive motion. And you can draw around 7 of those. And that will give you the length of your human body. And if you want to extend the proportions a little bit longer, like Giacometti, you can do that too. All right, so I have my head. About halfway is the waist or the hips. And so I'll mark that in the middle of my 4th head. And my feet will be down here. Then you can start drawing the neck, the shoulders, and the rest of your body. It's important to remember where your joints are, your elbows and your knees, and also where your hands come down on your leg. They come to about mid-thigh. After you get the basic shape of the human figure, then you can start experimenting with different poses and actions. Now we're ready to create our figure out of tin foil. Take your piece of tin foil, a nice square piece, and what you're going to do is think about the different sections being different parts of the body. So we're going to cut different sections, but think about the top middle being the head, the top upper corners being the arms, and then the bottom 2 sections being the legs. So we're going to draw lines or just cut lines, and you can estimate, find the center point. This tinfoil is 12 inches wide, and so I'm just going to measure at the 6 mark, or just estimate in the center, down at the bottom, and these will be the 2 legs when you cut here. And then you are going to split the top into thirds. So 12 divided by 3 is 4. 4 and 8. So we're going to cut along those lines, not too far, but probably down to about here. So we'll have arms, legs, and the head. So here's my little arms, here's my little head, here are my 2 legs. And now to create your body or the waist, you can slowly scrunch in the middle. And then pull your arms and legs out. And then you can sort of grab the head and gently squeeze your fingers together so you get a nice 3-dimensional head. You don't want to squish your tinfoil too much because it's hard to uncrumple it. And now the fun part comes when you bend the elbows and the knees into different actions, or you can just experiment with different poses until you get a position that you like your human figure to be in. And if your figure is more skinny and long, that's just fine because that's the style that Alberto Giacometti used. If you need to take a little extra tin foil to build up sections to make your figure look more muscly or more curvy in different areas, you can do that too. Turn your figure all the way around because it is a three-dimensional sculpture to make sure it looks good from every angle. And then you are ready to staple your figure to a base so that it can stand up with a little bit of help. Now, if it stands up on its own, that's awesome too. We'll take my piece of cardboard and just cut out a base that's not super big, not super small. And if you don't have a stapler, you can use some tape to tape it down, or you can staple the foot, one of the feet or both of the feet onto the base. All right, now I have my tin foil action figure.